Storied Women. My name is Anna Rose Ingara Milch, and I am your host. I am also the author of Lunch with Lucille. Lunch with Lucille is a story of how one woman's life impacted another woman. And here on Storied Women, we bring women from our community to share their stories so we can learn from them as well. Today, I have a very special guest, and her name is Damayanthie Eluwawalage. How did I do it? No, Eluwawalage.
Yes.
Eluwawalage. I apologize. We just call her Demi, so I'm just going to call her Demi. That's what she got by for the most part, isn't it, Demi? Okay. So as we spoke a little bit, I asked you to come up with what is it that one takeaway that you would like our listeners, our viewers, to remember from our chat?
In the context of my life, it's all about following my dreams. Follow your dreams. They always come true.
They always come true if you work at them. I guess you make them. What is the expression? And every goal begins first with a dream or something like that. So tell me, what about your dreams? What were they? When did they start?
I'm an Australian. I'm coming from the most isolated city in the world, Perth, Western Australia. The nearest capital city is about 2,500 kilometers away.
2,500 kilometers is about how many miles?
2,000 miles.
Wow.
I'm not sure.
Okay, but it's far. It's far. Okay.
And we are not in the jungle, but it is isolated. To see the world, we have to go somewhere. That's what kind of we grew up. That's the idea. We always go back home, but any given time, at least 500,000 Australians are traveling.
Really?
And
in a country of
20 million people, just 21 million people.
21 million people, 500,000 of them are always on the road somewhere. Wow, that's a phenomenal ratio.
Yes.
And you're one of them. You're one of that 500,000, right? That's always on the road. So when did you come to the United States?
In 2008.
2008, okay.
But about the dreams, I always mesmerized by the space, and I'm very fortunate all my life. I knew Arthur C. Clarke, the science fiction writer.
Okay. You knew him?
And he always told me to study astronomy, but I didn't.
So how old are you when you meet the?
All my life.
Oh, I mean, he's a child.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He passed away a few years ago, but he influenced me as well as I always liked or mesmerized by the space. And I met Yuri Gagarin.
The astronaut? Oh, cosmonaut.
Cosmonaut, yeah, the Soviet Union.
The Soviet Union, sure.
And all those things, and NASA, the rockets and the spacecrafts, and that's one of the dreams. And today I do a few research with NASA. Then it's like the first time I visited the space centers. It was I cried. I came a long way, and
yeah, you have come a long way. So from one of the most isolated places on the planet, you have made your way all the way to NASA.
Yeah, then I became a pilot.
Of course, then she becomes a pilot.
That is, then the aerobatics, and I'm so grateful. I did a lot of things because I'm here, and I'm very grateful to this country.
And you also, you also have a doctorate. You're a Ph.D.
Yes, I have a Ph.D. in design.
You have a Ph.D. in design. In what type of design?
It is design in general, but my background is industrial products
Okay, so you design industrial. You have a Ph.D. in industrial design.
Design in general,
Design.
but my undergraduate studies and my background is design general again, but I industrial and product in particular, and I became a fashion designer too.
And a fashion designer. You had a couple of minutes during the day to learn something new, I guess. So you just pick up another. So now, did you always dream in your dreams? Like, okay, so you always dreamed to go about space, and I remember that as a child too, because you know, growing up, I remember exactly where I was in the moon landing, and you know, you remember all of that. I personally didn't dream to go into space because of the capsule, that kind of going into that small space. I mean, would you have wanted to go into a capsule? You could do that?
I tried.
You tried, of course.
But there are so many limitations because I'm an Australian and I don't have proper eyesight, that sort of thing. There are limitations, but I tried to get into astronaut pool.
Wow, which I would imagine is really very slim.
Yes, but
you have to try. Exactly, you have to try. That's the dream. That's the dream. Right? So okay, so you do. Okay, so you get to NASA, then you get your PhD in instructional design. You're also a fashion designer. But I mean, are these the things that you know you would lay on your pillow at nighttime as a kid and say, "This is what I want to do"? Like kind of like you could just visualize yourself doing that.
Yes, always.
That's amazing.
Always dream about things. Sometimes can't sleep at night.
But you have really worked your dream. It's not like something, you know, that that other people just dream, you know, I want to be an astronaut and then don't take one foot forward. They just, you know, they don't do the study, they don't do the work.
Yes, nothing is going to hand it out to you, but you have to work for it. But the most important thing is the opportunity. You have an opportunity and options, and those things are invaluable.
So I know that you also do other things. You are a member of the Civil Air Force Patrol?
Civil Air Patrol.
Civil Air Patrol, okay. So what does that do? What does the Civil Air Patrol do?
It is a United States Air Force Auxiliary. We do community service and like rescue missions, that sort of thing, emergency service.
Wow.
Like want to be a rescue and emergency pilot for them. That's why I got into it.
Wow. You're an amazing woman, you know that. I mean, I'm sitting here in awe. It's like, you know, what else have you done? But I know that you're also, you also mentor children, mentor young people to go into the auxiliary too. Exactly. Am I right?
We have, yes.
Yes. So I think the beauty of what you do is not only that it's your dream, is helping others find their dream and to live out their dream. I think that's almost the beauty of what you do, and with your students and well as with the young astronauts.
I'm a teacher. They always look up to you, and yeah, they always say that I want to be one of like you, sort of a thing. Yeah, my teachers inspired me. I'm really here because of my teachers, and I want to give that back to my students too. And that is a contribution I can do as a teacher. Yes, they always say those things. It's a nice things to hear.
Yeah, I think when people say that to you, I don't know about you with this, it almost makes you want to do more. You know, when it gets rewarded, gets repeated. I mean, it's like if the thank yous make you want to do more. I mean, that's just it, you know. So tell me, what's on the next thing? What's the next step? Do we have another thing? I know one thing, because I asked you the question. I met Demi we went to a NASA demonstration or a NASA informational with Bob Button, right? That's where I met you. And Bob Button was a former test pilot he served in every branch of the military, but he was also a former test pilot and his relationship with all the astronauts from Mercury all the way to Apollo, right? It's just an extraordinary man, and I would have him on the show, only he's a guy, and so I'm just going to tell you that. But Demi is very close with him, and that's where I met her. And I know that I asked the question about when they were talking about astronauts. Do you remember the question that I asked you? I asked because most of the pilots, as we know, most of the astronauts we know are male. And so I asked them, what is the impact on the families who stay behind? I mean, I know when my husband travels and for work, and he's just on a plane, my stomach is, I'm concerned about him traveling, right? If he would travel. But you think in terms of your home with your young children, and you're watching your husband go up into space, What's the impact of the people who are working in the office and who are left behind, And so when I asked that question, you came up into me and you told me that you are doing something, right? And you were studying that, and you're trying to find out what is the real impact of the social impact of that.
It is about the space program. It is a neglected history of the space history in this country. This is one of the research I'm doing using NASA primary sources from NASA archives. Even though the mission has accomplished the lives of the people who make those remarkable things happen, it's never been told. And again, it is a neglected history of the space history in this country. That's one of the research I do using NASA resources. It is the sacrifice they endured, even though the mission has accomplished. That untold story has to be told.
Yeah, and you do that on your own time.
Yes, it's at this stage, but I'll try to get a grant or something, but I'm doing it anyway.
It's wonderful. Because it's all part of the dream, right? All part of the dream.
No, I'm a historian. As historians, we tell stories of our nations. That is one of the things, one of the contributions I can make as a historian to the society I'm living in.
This is an extraordinary woman. We should have her on for hours and hours and hours and hours, because the dreams. I think but the fundamental, if we just back it all up, is what Demi is telling us, is that if you have a dream, you take action, you'll get there. Right? You make the contacts, you make the relationships, and you work hard. That's exactly what you have done. You may have to leave your comfort zone. Demi has left her comfort zone way far away to do all these things. You just couldn't have been done from where you were standing.
Yes, on the other hand, I met remarkable, generous, kind people. I left home when I was 19. I went to England to study. Ever since, people helped me. And I did my work, but I had the support system, people who I never met before, and I'm forever grateful for those people who helped me throughout the years.
And now you're paying it forward by helping others, by teaching others, by helping others.
Yes, and I try to contribute as a researcher, as a historian, as a teacher if I can.
I think you're doing a great job, Demi. I have learned so much just from being in your presence just the very few times, and I do appreciate you coming in today, and I appreciate you all for coming and listening. Thank you.